Hello, welcome to Menacing MTG. Today we have a mono red deck, which is about lots of land and overwhelming the opponent. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown. I'll start by telling you there's 23 mountains, 1 Castle Embereth, but in addition to that, there is 3 Nyx Lotus. We have some card drawn here, and the idea is to get your devotion up a bit, get the Nyx Lotus going so you can just bring out the monstrous stuff. So we have some ways to ramp up in here. We have 4 Omen of the Forge, which are enchantments with flash, and you can bring them on and deal 2 damage to any target. Then it sits on the board, and you can use it as a scry 2. 1 Thermo Alchemist in here, as there's a fair amount of instants and sorceries to go around. So just can kind of keep tapping the opponent for life if you get this guy on. 2 Thrill of Possibilities. Discard a card, draw 2 cards. 2 Wily Goblins, and this is a 2-drop that has a 1/1, but it drops a treasure token on the board that you can use for mana. 3 Anax. It's legendary, you can only have 1 at a time. But when it dies or others that are on the board, it creates 1/1 satyrs that can't block but can attack. 4 Bone Crusher Giants. The instant portion of this card deals 2 damage for 2 mana, and then it's a 4/3 creature. A Goblin Chain Whirler in case you got a bunch of 1s out there. A Relic Robber just to be a total pain in the neck. It's got haste, 2/2, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player creates a 0/1 colorless goblin artifact token with this creature can't block, and at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature does 1 damage to you. 2 Risk Factors, deals 4 damage unless that player elects to let you draw 3 cards. 3-drop, and it's got Jumpstart, so you can use it again by ditching a card from your hand. 1 Chandra Novice Pyromancer. So this is again kind of like Wily Goblin. Goblin is in here to boost up your mana amount here. It's -1, gives you 2 red mana to use for anything you see fit. Neheb, Dreadhorde Champion, 5/4 legendary creature for 4-drop. It's got trample, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you may discard any number of cards. If you do, draw that many cards and add that much red mana. Until the end of the turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Okay, so mana production. 3 Nyx Lotus comes on tapped, but gives you mana equal to your devotion. 1 Demanding Dragon. This comes on, it deals 5 damage to the opponent unless they sack a creature, and it's a 5/5 flyer. 1 Ilharg the Raiseboar. 5-drop, 6/6 with trample. Whenever he attacks, you may put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Return that creature to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. When he dies or is put into the graveyard, put him 3rd from the top in your library. Neheb the Eternal. Another Neheb. So there's only 1 of these. There's 2 of the others, and only because I only had 1. And I'm out of mythic cards to spend. As I'm a total budget guy, never spend a cent on magic. I've not ever. So this guy is a 4/6 5-drop that has, at the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add 1 red mana for each 1 life your opponent has lost this turn. So this just can keep the wheels turning in your deck, bringing other things on the board. And this creature has Afflict 3. Whenever this creature becomes blocked, the defending player loses 3 life. Okay. Rapacious Dragon, one of these, it's a flyer, 3/3, costs 5, kind of pricey, but you create 2 treasure tokens that you can use for mana. Another mana generator. 2 Fiery Emancipation. This is the card that makes it all kind of click and go wild. So you don't mind using this Nehab to kind of circulate cards through. You also have, of course, the Thrill of Possibilities. But yeah, 2 Fiery Emancipation, and that triples the damage delivered by any permanent. So it's just, it's overwhelming once this occurs. 3 Banefire, great card, flexible. If your X is 5 or more, it can't be countered, which is awesome. So you can deal X damage to any target. Can't be prevented. Can't be countered at 5 or more. The goal is you get a ton of mana available and you unload this guy. And they just can't stop it. So Electro Dominance, there's 3 Banefires, 1 Electro Dominance. Now this is a similar card, not quite as potent, but it has another little trick, which is that it deals X damage to any target. It does cost 2 red mana in addition to that, as opposed to Banefire's 1. But you can cast a spell with converted mana cost of X or less from your hand without paying its cost. So that's great. And, you know, in the 24 mana here, we have the castle that you can pay 3 and tap this. And creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn. You can do that multiple times if you had a ton of mana. So there's the deck. Let's play a few games. Okay, we're joining this on turn 4, and we have had a pretty decent hand here. Yeah, so we have got Annex on the board. We had the good fortune to get Wily Dragon early. And this is going to allow us to get Fiery Emancipation on the board with any luck at all. This is kind of a scary card here, as foretold. It will eventually give them a lot of mana. I haven't seen Fey Ritual of Soot. That's unfortunate, but we will get some tokens. Okay, and now I believe that we can go ahead and bring out Fiery Emancipation, which is immediately going to sting with just those satyrs. Brings them down to 4. Very scary right there to be able to bring that on. There's our mana generation that kind of facilitated a turn 5, even without a mana on turn 5, us being able to get Fiery Emancipation on the board. So they got a major problem here. We have multiple ways to end the game. I do not believe they can be stopped. There's no stopping victory here at this point. Alright. So we will start out with a total of 5 mana. So we're going to start with Risk Factor. They're going to have to let us draw. Somewhat of a moot point, as Bone Crusher Giant is just waiting there to throw his instant at them. That's game. Okay, there's a game. We'll do another. Okay, we're going to join this game here on turn 5, and I've managed to get Nyx Lotus on, and now we have Eternal, but I believe they're probably going to have removal, and I'm really worried about Casualties of War. But I can do something here, and Banefire is building up some force at this point. I'm going to take a shot at him. I'm anticipating Casualties of War here if he has mana. Just red, green, and black. I have a deck that's red, green, and black that's just vicious. He's going to lose some life doing that, and that means that he doesn't have a Casualties of War in hand. And my lockdown deck is of those colors, and it is really unpleasant. Okay, so we're going to put up Fire Emancipation, which is going to spell some discomfort here. Boy, we have 3 mana remaining, so we're going to put up the Giant. Which presents some problems for them because when he becomes a target of a spell, he deals 2 damage to that spell's controller, which now equates to 6 damage with Fire Emancipation on the board. But I'm worried, okay, he does not have a Casualties of War, so thus far I'm feeling very fortunate. He's got a boatload of mana, though. He's still got 4 available, and here comes a shock. And he's going to lose. He's going to use 2 of them. He's emptying his hand, but he's going to... If you realize he's taken 6 damage, that is terrible. So I can end the game here, this turn, as a result of having the Giant in hand. And we may as well go for the whole Monty here. We've got a total of 7-10 land. So we're going to go for 9, and that's the game. So that's game 2. This is working slick. We'll play another. Okay, we got a good game going here. Doing some major damage here, and that would have been the game. But I was a little afraid because they had discard and removal, and they had 2 Panharmonicons on, so I think they were about to go with something. Sorry I jumped in as late as I did. It just unfolded very quickly there with Neheb. Okay, join this game here. The 4th turn, and looking pretty good. Going to get the Nyx Lotus up and just try to hang on here. That'll give us a lot of mana, and then Neheb will explode the whole mana situation up. We've got with the Chain Whirler, it gives us a lot of devotion, and as does the Wily Goblin. No attacks. The Chain Whirler is also helping us because he has First Strike here, keeping this guy at bay. Worried about further mutating, though. Here we go. So the draw card here. And this will cause a bit of a problem because it has now a 4 defense. But I could double block, but I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to let them come in. Couldn't anyway, they're flyers. This could change the tone of things, but I'm really interested in getting Neheb up because I can just go totally nuts here. I can bring the dragon out with Neheb. So we've still got 4 mana. And what I can do is attack with these guys and create, I believe, 4 more mana, which would give me 8. So I could bring on the Alchemist and the Dragon. Let's see how that works. We also have this in store here, so... Okay, and let's see, there's 4 more, so 4 plus 4, yep, that all works. We're going to put up the Alchemist. And now a blocker for the flyers. And they'll take 5 unless they sack a creature. They may choose to ditch the Tome Raider. And here I'm going to do this as well because I really want to make this click. Ditch the Forge. Okay, so that's excellent. In very good shape here. They do have the flyer with Death Touch and Lifelink, which is going to help them out, but if they come in, they're going to leave themselves wide open for the Demanding Dragon and other unpleasant things. So the tense game here, I do have the Nyx with 10 mana. So, oh, ouch, this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Yep, okay. So I'm wondering if they'll come with a flyer. They both have Death Touch. Okay. They do not. Okay, this is so interesting. Now we have Okay, I really like what's going on here, but we need big stuff to happen. Nihab's going to generate a ton of mana. So really what I'm hoping for here is that risk factor, they allow us to draw some cards. So we're going to mess with them here and toss up risk factor, which untaps Thermo Alchemist. We're doing damage, which is going to give us more mana with Nihab. They allow us to draw, which is absolutely huge here. So we get to put up the mana. Now we have 12 mana on board. And I think what's next is let's see. Relic Robber, he's got haste, and they don't want to let him in because he creates a token that does damage to them. We're going to bring the dragon on. That will drop tokens. And then we're going to tap the alchemist. And then we're going to do Thrill of Possibility, ditching the wily goblin. Let's see, now we're now going to whack them. We're going to do as much damage as we can here. And we do have the alchemist clicking away here, which is outstanding. We're really taking a bite out of them here. Okay, now it's time to come in, I believe. So they're probably going to block Nihab and the Demanding Dragon, which means 2, 5, 6 damage. But we will get mana and be able to bring things on. They may not go big, but we're going to do damage, allowing us to bring these guys on the board and maybe even run risk factor again. I don't have anything to ditch, so I can't do that, but I'll bring the giants on. They do have, it is scary because they have 7 possible damage here, but they do have to block, so they're probably going to preserve these and take out the goblin and the relic. But that will allow, they can't do that, so they're in a bind here. They're going to lose one of those, which is awesome. So let's go in and get them and see what occurs. They're in a very difficult spot here. So they're going to get the dragon off the board, and they're going to lose one of their flyers. They do have lifelink, which is going to help them a lot here. Okay. Now, let's see how much mana we get. And there's 16 mana. Okay, obviously we cannot do that, but additionally, we have this token on the board. And they're going to feel pressed to try to get something done this turn. They only have 2 cards in hand. They do have 6 mana. Very tense here. Because of damage, they're down to 9. We're equal at 9. We are a little bit vulnerable here, but worst case scenario, I can block with the dragon. And they don't want to hurt those bone crushers because they're going to deal them damage. They're looking for the life gain scenario. I'm just going to take a look at what we have here. Okay, yeah, this is the kind that does gain, and does not appear that they have, that did them damage as well. So taking out that, a bone crusher, and that's the game. Excellent game there. So I just want to say, folks, that this deck, like many other decks, really come from somebody else's ideas, and that's the way Magic decks are created. When I look at somebody's decks, in this case, it was Merchant, who is one of my favorite deck builders on YouTube. He has a deck like this that has the core idea with the Nihabs and the Fiery Emancipation. and a few of the other components, but I always try to make them mine. I make some changes, and first of all, I don't have enough Mythic and Wild cards that were in his deck, so I could not make his deck. And that's the story of my life, really. And I know there's many like me out there that don't want to spend money on playing Magic if they can avoid it. And but I want to give credit to Merchant. He's a great mind and builds amazing decks. And I'm kind of the working man's deck builder here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing. Um, Leave me some feedback. Tell me what you think of my decks. Appreciate you watching. Have a great day.